Moments from now, the president's Fiscal Commission will vote officially on a proposal to cut the deficit by nearly $4 trillion. 14 of the 18 commissioners must sign on for the plan to actually advance to Congress for consideration.
Senator Kent Conrad, chair of the Budget Committee and a member of the commission, joins us now. He's a supporter of the plan. Senator Conrad, before we get into the Deficit Commission, we want to ask you about this latest jobs number. As you are well aware, this was a disappointment. It was expected to be better. Do you think this alters the climate right now on Capitol Hill when it comes to things like the deal making on the tax cuts, the unemployment benefit extension, or do you still anticipate that these symbolic votes that many Democrats want to hold will still go forward?
Well, I don't know whether the vote will go forward tomorrow. I anticipate that it will. But look, I think the important thing is this tells us, despite the fact that retail sales have been so encouraging, that there's still some disappointment in terms of the jobs market. I think that strengthens the hands of those of us who have called for a partial payroll tax holiday in conjunction with the deficit reduction plan we're going to be voting on this morning. In other words, to provide a partial payroll tax holiday at the same time we are putting in place a long-term or longer-term debt reduction plan.
Senator Conrad, let's go to the debt reduction plan. We've all done the whip counting. We know there are basically 2 undecided votes. At best, it looks like supporters of this plan are going to get 11 votes, about 3 votes short of the 14. I have to ask you, I'm going to ask you this, glass is half empty. If 18 very intelligent people working together for 6 weeks 14 of these 18 couldn't come to an agreement, what chance does this have on Capitol Hill where the interest group influence is even greater?
Well, first of all, we've worked for months, not weeks.
Fair enough.
11 of 18, by my math, is 60%. Around here, even with a filibuster, 60% prevails. You know, Senator Gregg and I designed this plan. Of course, what we offered was not precisely adopted. We also involved the administration, had them at the table, but we set a very high bar, 14 of 18. You know, frankly, I never thought there was much prospect of getting 14 of 18 to agree in this town on almost anything. But to get 11 of 18, more than 60%, I think sends a signal and gives at least an outline of what could be done on a bipartisan basis. And really, that has to be done, Chuck. You know, we're on an unsustainable course. We're borrowing 40 cents of every dollar we spend. That can't continue very long. So at some point, we've got to face up to the debt threat facing the country.
Let me play what Senator Coburn, your Republican colleague who will support this plan, had to say yesterday in announcing his support.
This package does not solve our problems. It only cuts $4 trillion. We need to cut 10, just to make sure everybody understands. This is the starting point. We're going to drive more austerity. I can promise you over the next 6 years, I'm going to drive austerity like crazy.
Senator Conrad, you, Senator Coburn, so many people talk apocalyptically about this deficit. But to return to Chuck's point, I mean, here you have a plan that, according to Senator Coburn, is really only a drop in the bucket of what needs to be done. And you can't even get the commission members to support it, just to even go forward. I mean, couldn't people just come to the conclusion that there's just no hope Washington's going to pull it together to do anything?
Yeah, I suppose that could be a conclusion. Look, I prefer to be optimistic and believe that in this country, ultimately we make the right decisions. The fact is 11 of 18 on this commission are agreeing to support a plan that is highly controversial. And in terms of being apocalyptic, I don't accept that characterization. I would prefer to be called realistic, because the reality is as clear as it can be. Revenue is the lowest it's been in 60 years as a share of our national income. Spending is the highest it's been in 60 years as a share of our national income. Those trends simply cannot be permitted to continue. We're borrowing, again, 40 cents of every dollar we spend. We are on a course to have a debt of 400% of the gross domestic product of the United States. No economist No economist says that is sustainable, supportable, or will allow the American economy to grow and create jobs.
Senator Conrad, I got to ask you about these various tax cut proposals that are out there about dealing with the Bush tax rates. You're on the record for months saying a temporary extension for now. So I'm not asking you about your position. What I want to know is, what do you make of all these political showboating votes that are taking place? Because, frankly, that's what I mean. There was even a compromise, which, of course, has since been broken, between Harry Reid and Mitch McConnell to say, oh, yes, we'll both hold a couple of show votes. Aren't we past this in Washington? This is not election. It just seems sort of an odd time to do these showboating votes.
You know, let me stay away from, contributing to characterizations of what people are doing and just go to the heart of the matter. The heart of the matter is, I believe what needs to be done is much along the lines of what the Commission is calling for, which is a partial payroll tax holiday in order to give additional lift to this economy, in order to have more jobs created. I think we also, at the same time, need to put in place a long-term debt reduction plan. And as I've said for weeks, I would extend the tax cuts for a short period of time and tie it to fundamental tax reform to take out some of the deductions, exclusions, loopholes, and reduce rates to make America more competitive. That is absolutely critical for our future.
Well, Senator Kent Conrad, it's great to have you today. You've got your work cut out for you. We appreciate your time.
You bet.
Thank you, Senator.